Hello and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you enjoy what you've seen and if you want to continue seeing more. Coming up in this episode, John Bateman talk at RL Move ramps up. Scores and results from the Rugby League World Cup's Thursday games. Wheelchairs and women's come to the fore. And a long piece of story, a timeline if you will, of the USARL, a new entity, and the International Rugby League stepping in its convictions. So we begin with the rumours that persist around John Bateman, as he's had to make two statements on his Super League future after being linked with a move to the West Tigers. The former Canberra Raiders forward, who is currently on England duty at the Rugby League World Cup, says his future has come into question recently following links with a move to West Tigers, as per the Daily Telegraph in Australia. They are reporting that Bateman is set to sign a 3-year deal with the West Tigers to become part of the new lock forward backpack. That includes new signing Isaiah Papali'i. The England press conference last week says, which was ahead of the game of Samoa, he was asked about a potential deal. Bateman then stated that his focus is firmly on the World Cup and do well for his country. "I think I'm pretty sure I'm here to talk about England," Bateman said. "I'll talk to you about after the World Cup. I want to focus on the World Cup, to be fair." And now Bateman was asked at a second press conference for England when asked the same question by Australian publication Fox Sports. The Wigan man asking if speaking about his sport. Stop recording. Bateman, at another press conference, was asked the same question by Australian publication Fox Sports, with the Wigan man speaking of how good it is to be linked with such a big move, and just to be light, to be fair. "I'll sort out what I need to sort out after the World Cup, and the decision will come then," Bateman told Fox Sports. "I've got a contract at Wigan, and rumours are rumours are rumours. But it's also good to be light. I don't care what you say. I've got a World Cup to focus on now, and that's what I'm going to be focused on. I'll answer the questions after the World Cup." With that being said, however, Fox League has reported that a move for Newcastle Knights Tyson Frizzell would happen if the pursuit for Wigan Warriors John Bateman fails, as the Tigers have already said that they're ready to pay $250,000 Australian dollars to Wigan for the services of Bateman, and according to the Daily Telegraph, Bateman would then agree to that 3-year deal if that's accepted, or if Bateman wants it. However, a move for Frizzell would come if their pursuit of Bateman failed to suggest that perhaps the arrangement isn't quite as a done deal as many believe it is. Anyway, notwithstanding, it is just England that is focused on at this moment in time, and beating Samoa at the Emirates Stadium on Saturday afternoon. The Emirates Stadium in London hosting their first ever Rugby League game, so it's going to be an interesting one for the Londoners. If they beat Samoa, England will go on to face Australia or New Zealand as they prepare for battle on Friday night at Elland Road in Leeds. Ticket sales are supposedly good, but for now, Bateman and West is just talk. It's time to now look back on Thursday's Rugby League action while I bring you the scores and scorers from the 4 games that were played on Wednesday, whether that was at the EIS Arena in Sheffield or the LNER Community Stadium up in York. as there were two double headers. Firstly, the two wheelchairs, and then the women's, as we now know what the semi-finals looks like for the men's, women's and wheelchair events, as we go towards the final week of rugby league games in this tournament. The first match was in the wheelchair rugby league, and the USA faced France, who are one of the favourites for the tournament, and rightly so, with 116 points to 6 victory of France over USA. The man of the game was Jeremy Boursin, who went across for 5 tries and was instrumental in many others. Jonathan Hivernet scored 4 tries himself, while Gilles Clausels scored a hat-trick. I have to mention Nicholas Clausels getting 1 try, as his brother would have got more headlines than him. Lionel Alazard converted 9 conversions as one of the favourites for the World Cup, were leading 64 points to 0 at half time and went on to this another massive win. Due to that result, Wales just needed to beat Scotland to progress to the semi-finals, as only USA stood in their way, but there was also a culmination of results that meant Scotland could have went through if they win. But now Wales will go on to meet England in the Wheelchair Rugby League semi-finals after winning 70 points to 36 over Scotland in Sheffield. Andrew Higgins scored 4 tries and Scott Trigg claimed a hat-trick. Scott Trigg-Turner, as Wales overpowered the Scots, and in total Wales scored 12 tries to Scotland's 7 to secure the last 4 place. For Scotland, it was that man Dan Grant again who was on the ball for the Scottish side, as he scored a hat-trick of tries, as well as tries from John Williams and Mike Mellon, who's a hard hitter in this game, going over for the points for Scotland. We now make the short journey north to York, as there was a doubleheader at the LNER Stadium, with, first of all, France getting beat off the Cook Islands 18 points to 26. This was another dead rubber game, but pride was at stake. Both sides did not want to go home from the Rugby League World Cup with no wins to their name. The Cook Islanders led 12 points to 4 at half time, and it was made closer in the second half due to a great France fight back. Cook Islands had Ngatapuna, Matua, Wiki, Tuana and Dean to thank for their tries, while Matua, one of the twins, kicked 3 goals. For France, Yankee Syria with 2 tries and Song Poosh scored the points as they went over the try line, with Syria kicking only 1 of the goals. It was a good game, to be fair, both teams throwing up big hits and also some expansive play, and neither team could go home disheartened by their performance, and both can look forward to getting to France in 2025. And in the main event in Group B, to see who plays who in the semi-finals, Australia just eked out the win, 10 points to 8 over New Zealand. It was Aitken who went over in the first half for Australia, with Bringing Shaw kicking the conversion, but 2 tries from New Zealand put them in front. Nichols Pulau went over for their first try, and Stevens Daly scored the second. Robinson hit back after those 2 tries, but with New Zealand getting some calls go against them and some go for them, they can feel a little hard done by. What a game between these 2 teams. It was a fantastic effort. Now they go on to the semi-finals. Here are the tables after the women's groups come to their conclusion. First of all, Group A saw England top the group with 3 wins from 3, Papua New Guinea second, Canada with the victory over Brazil coming third. And in Group B, Australia topped the group with New Zealand second, the Cook Islands next with their solitary win over France, who finished bottom. Now on to the fixtures for the semi-finals, starting with the wheelchair competition. France play Australia on Sunday the 13th of November at 12 p.m. Both of these games are being played at the EIS State Arena in Sheffield. Tickets are available to be purchased from the Rugby League World Cup website. Then it's followed up as a double header as England face Wales for the final at Manchester Central in Manchester. Then on the Monday the 14th of November we see a double header from the LNER Community Stadium in York as the four teams face off, with Australia versus Papua New Guinea at 5 p.m. UK time and 7:30 p.m. for England versus New Zealand. Again, your tickets at rugbyleagueworldcup2021.com. Get down there and support all the teams. It's been an interesting 24 hours in rugby league over the other side of the Atlantic. So I now turn your attention to the USARL organisation. Because back in June 2022, International RL came to the finalisation of a process where they were asked to step in to help with the unification and ratification of their preferred American partner to see if they can grow the sport in a positive light and create a competitive league as a foundation for the sport over that side of the sea. A provisional head was put into place before elections were decided on, and that was Jamaica Rugby League chief Romeo Monteith, and the USA will hold their leadership contest elections for the new head of the organisation in February of 2023. International Rugby League boss Troy Grant stated in the announcement, "This is an opportunity for all those involved in rugby league in the USA to seize and help shape the future direction of the game. The USA is of great significance for International Rugby League, and the IRL is pleased that a good governance model is in place to help the game grow and thrive domestically. However, for rugby league in the USA to get to where we all know it can and should be, requires all stakeholders to play their role in and work together. On behalf of the International Rugby League, I strongly encourage all within the game in the United States to come together and take part in the democratic process now in place under these governance reforms. Without that participation, this good governance reform cannot be implemented." The aim was for a new governance structure which was developed after a wide range of detailed consultations with more than 30 stakeholders across all levels of the game in the United States and analysis of other American nation federations. The reforms proposed by the IRL was endorsed at a recent meeting of the USARL Board, International Rugby League and the Potential Independent Review Board, who have signed off a memorandum of understanding that paves the way to introduce the changes. The process gathered more momentum as the board helped create a new board of directors for the USARL Inc.'s Women's Committee, leading into the America's Championship next year and the Rugby League World Cup in 2025 in France. The board approved Miranda Bernard to lead the USARL Inc. and the committee to ensure the national governing body are fulfilling the requirements of the International Rugby League Board for providing a healthy domestic competition and a successful international agenda for women and girls across the country. Barnard set up a board and worked with a select group of women to take ownership of the women's game and create opportunities leading up to the next World Cup. They appointed 4 new people to operations manager in Gianna Beard, Samantha Black-Keels, team manager, Robin Olivieri, finance manager, and Carolyn Roach is the social media boss. The manager, the one that looks after all the Facebook and Instagram and everything like that. This continued with internationally approved events like the USA Selects team, the South team, playing against Puerto Rico in October, and the men's team facing Canada's side on the 5th of November, which was held on YouTube. While there was changes at international level with the women's team, as the US Association of Rugby League Incorporated and coaching director Peter Ilfield selected Adrian A.D. Cooney to be the head coach for the women's national team. Cooney followed that up by appointing Ben Calverley as assistant coach and the head of development squads on tours. Calverley even, with 15 years of playing experience, with 4 years of coaching under his belt, founded 2 women's clubs in his coaching career, and has shown his dedication to women's participation in rugby league. On the world scene, the American Wheelchair Hawks were competing in the 2021 World Cup and won their first game against their Scotland counterparts on November the 7th, and also winning friends and fans, along with the rest of the wheelchair competition, I may add, as they went on. Things certainly looked rosy from the sporting direction, and it seemed what was happening was going the right way. And for most watching the sport in the USA, who have a vested interest in the sport, they agreed it was going the right way. However, there is a dissenting arm that has reared its head over the last 24 hours, and it's been given a face and a logo. This entity is called the Commission for Rugby League in the United States, going by the acronym USARLC, which they say will be taking back the reins on the governance of the sport in the USA. And rugby league will be played under a banner of the USA NRL. So, who are the people in charge of this? Well, according to the statement from the USA NRL that came out on the 10th of November, appointed to the independent executive board is former Fiji Nines team manager Rob Kawuvesi. Joining him will be a lawyer named Mark Nichols, who served extensively with the Major League Baseball as an investigator, along with Daniel Thale, chairman of Pacific Sports International. Added to an advisory board is John Paul Basile, who has previously worked for the NBA and done extensive research on the viability of sports in the US market. Former USA and NRL player Daniel Newey is also mentioned as part of this board and joins the advisory board along with Peter O'Doherty from NAB Creative, who brings a wealth of experience from his services on tourism boards. Other changes will be looked at on the men's side. You know, the one that played on the 5th of November. As the statement said, the men's programme will no longer be under the control of Sean Rutgerson, who is pictured above, Drew Slover, and Peter Ilfield, and instead will be managed by the Commission, who intend to announce a new management and coaching staff along with internationals before the end of November. So the second man mentioned there is Drew Slover, owner of the Jacksonville Axemen Rugby League team, who is one of the teams being touted as joining the league. He relieved of his duties under this regime. He is also a past USARL boss too. He will, however, be kept on to run the southern section of the leagues with Billy Nelson. who both run it under the current USARL. We'll come to the teams in a few moments, as its release has a few logos of those teams and they have had their say about being involved or not. Anyway, next we come on to how the leagues will be devised, and you won't believe this, but the American National Rugby League, the previous entity to the USARL, will be in charge of the North Ends America's conference system. This is slated to be run by, according to the statement, Mark Offerdale, the former USA forward and NRL player. There is also former Australian Rugby League player Garen Casey, who have formed the USA Women's Rugby League Inc. and was the team's CEO. And under the new model, he will return to the Red Tails as head of operations for the women's branch and appoints Tiffany Fa'a'i as the new head coach of the women's team. She is a cross-codes international for both rugby union and rugby league sides in North America. I know there's a lot to digest there and there's still more to come, especially when we're still asking questions like, what is actually going on in USA Rugby League with this new wrinkle coming about? It seemed to have shocked even the International Rugby League body, as they, have a World Cup to complete and didn't see anything from this. They did, however, release a statement because, they have been at the current process for 8 months prior to June 2022, so they have a lot of time, money and effort invested into this new process. They did make time, however, to release this statement, and it says, in response to a story circulating today, November the 10th, 2022, on the status of American Rugby League, the International Rugby League has issued this following statement. The USA Association of Rugby League is the national federation of rugby league in the USA and is the sole IRL member for the rugby league in that country. International Rugby League has had no contact with the Commission for Rugby League. Decision on the future direction of US Rugby League, including staffing of its national teams, remains the responsibility of the legal International Rugby League member, which is the USARL. In June 2022, following an 8-month process, International Rugby League finalised its recommendations for a governance reform of the USARL. These recommendations were built on an open consultation with approximately 30 respondents participating in the examination of multiple US governing body structures and fundamental good governance principles. The National Federation accepted these recommendations, paving the way for long-term stability and the growth in Americas built on solid foundations. This reform is ongoing, with all active clubs and leagues invited to play constructive roles in the process by participating in the USARL competitions in 2023, and by doing so, gaining constitutional rights to shape USA Rugby League leadership and the strategic direction. That opportunity is open to everyone, and the International Rugby League encourages all stakeholders who have American Rugby League's best interests at heart to participate in the reform. So the International Rugby League are standing by the girl that they brought to the dance, and are not easily swayed on the batters, but urge people who want to get involved with the sport to do so through their processes, as that is a way everybody can get on the same page, which is a fair comment. It should be how it is done. So what about the clubs that are involved? Well, the first that anyone heard of this is from one of the clubs used in the statement, the DC Cavalry, was when Ryan Burrows was alerted to it. He is the founder of the club and will hopefully looking forward to the NARL launch. He commented on a post question from a quizzical fan stating, "It's not real, bro." And after answering questions directly from people with an eye on rugby league in America, affirming his stance not with the USANRL, he has been in contact with the club's lawyers about the use of the logo in their statement. Another team seemingly distancing and ruling themselves out of the USANRL are the San Diego Barracudas, who responded to a tweet trying to connect the dots due to the California Rugby League competition issues to this new group's foundation. This is the tweet. As they have said, we have submitted our affiliation application to the current national governing body, USARL. We are not starting a rebel league and are solely looking to grow the game of rugby league. So from a rugby league point of view, it is another interesting story of, balance of power shifting from one group of people to another. But in my opinion, the USANRL is an organisation that seems to be made up of people disgruntled with not being in a position of power in American Rugby League anymore. Do not get me wrong, these people all have plenty of experience in Rugby League and could lend their weight to help grow the sport. But that is not only what they want, it seems to be. The sport is not really off the ground in America, but when someone gets it right, the whole sport can benefit, not just the small few. And that is what everyone is looking for, the formula that could put this entire sport that we love on the map in a huge market for sport, an appetite for sport. All I can say is we are 4 months past the rules and regulations that have been set up by the USARL and 3 months away from the elections up ahead. We're still going to see a few more turbulent times, but at this point, USANRL, I don't think it's an entity to take seriously, as we can see by the logos of the teams that are involved, or at least said to be involved. Some of those teams don't even exist anymore, really, and other ones blatantly not using their logos properly. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking on that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming in the near future. Tell me what your thoughts are on all the stories that I've covered in the episode today. Quite a lot to go through. I hope you followed it, and I hope I was clear in my description. If there's something that I'm missing, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'd like to get more information if you guys have got it. Maybe some pieces and parts of it that I'm not privy to yet. I hope to bring that to you soon. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Comment section is open. Please alleviate all your questions and your thoughts in there. And also, be civil. So, remember to share this video worldwide. I'll end the episode as I always do by wishing you all the best. So please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.